Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Women in Entrepreneurship at Service Radio. I'm your host, Blessing, and here with me, I have a very important guest in the studios today who is here to provide different opportunities to innovators in Uganda. If you are an innovator there, you've produced your product, you don't have any digital presence, you don't have location, here is your time, here is your opportunity. I think the time for suffering has ended because the guy here is our savior, and he's called Mr. Taiso Isaiah from Made in Uganda, and he's here to explain to us what he has for us. Mr. Isaiah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Mr. Isaiah, introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity once again. I'm called Taiso Isaiah, vendor manager, Made in Uganda. It's such a privilege to be here. So as a vendor manager at Made in Uganda, what we do, first of all, as Made in Uganda, we bring together all innovators in the country, those who are into handcrafts, health and beauty, food and beverages. We bring them in one umbrella where we get to give them market access, but also help them polish to be competitive globally. Yes.
Okay, Isaiah. Now, for someone who is listening in and is watching us, that person who has just heard about Made in Uganda. What is Made in Uganda? What is the story behind Made in Uganda? What is it about?
Thank you very much. So Made in Uganda was birthed on three main elements. That is aggregating, promoting, and distributing.
When you talk of aggregating, what do you mean?
So aggregating is more like bringing together innovators. As earlier stated, we do have very creative and innovative minds in the country who put together, different products out there, from handcrafts to health and beauty solutions, to foods and beverages. But as Made in Uganda, we realize that, yes, for as much as they do bring this on board, they are in a way hindered to be fully competitive. They don't get to see their product feature at the highest stage. Yeah, so Made in Uganda came with this idea that, yes, for as much as we have these very beautiful minds, these very innovative and creatives, we don't have the enabler of having something that cuts borders for us. For as much as we have the best product, but you're lacking in a way. For example, you'll have a very good product, but it cannot feature on the global stage. Why? Because of maybe a packaging problem. Maybe because an innovator out there is starting out is like, how will I be able to have my product, which is not certified, for example, which is not properly packaged, compete with some of these big brands out there, and also featuring on big markets, big e-commerce markets like Walmart. So what we do is that as Made in Uganda, we create an enabling environment. One, to be able to first create these, very good creatives we have together, bring them together, but also help them to be able to have that acceleration on the market that they'll be able to sell internationally. Of course, this as well enables us to create more jobs, grow our economy, mention it.
Okay, now when you talk of, you've given us different categories, crafts, food and beverages, cosmetics, but can you kindly break it down so that someone can, because I may be there having my product, but I don't know where it belongs. So Food and beverages, which kind of products are in this? Home and cosmetics, which kind of products? Crafts, so that the people out there can be able to know if their products fall in that category.
Thank you very much. Now, we have around 9 categories, different categories. Just to mention, we have foods and beverages, we have health and beauty, we have handcrafts, we have toiletries, we have veterinary products, we have pharmaceuticals, So we have a whole lot of these products. Now, of course, to take one side of a category, let's say food and beverages, this is majorly looking at what we consume in terms of food and maybe what we drink at the end of the day. So someone who is in snacks and confectionaries, drinks like sodas, juices, mention it. So flours, for example, yeah. So even the hard drinks as well. Yeah. So we have all these created in this. So we have in one category, for example, like foods and beverages, we have a span of over 6 of them. As I mentioned, we have snacks, we have beverages themselves as plain beverages, we have flours, we have pantry spices. So mention it. Everyone, so whoever does something that is directly consumable in terms of food qualifies to be in this category. So to mention also others, handcraft is majorly, you're looking at what crafts are you putting there? Are you into fashion? Are you into, cosmetics as well? So you have these different categories that specifically speak to you what you think in terms of giving a solution to something to wear, to something for beauty, something to eat, something for health, something for the animal side of things, veterinary, for example. So mention it, solutions to maybe tick infections, solutions to fertilizers, for example. All these span into these major categories. So everyone who is putting something on the market, offering a solution, but specifically Ugandan. Okay? And one way or the other, you add value to your product. We encourage that whoever comes on board is innovative in a way that gets to add something to what organically is gotten from the gardens at the end of the day. Maybe sourced, from the raw material element. Yeah, so yes, as made in Uganda, we do have all these creatives on board. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, as you know, Uganda has many businesses, many startups who are out there, and they are struggling with visibility actually. They don't know what to do. Some struggle with certification. So, as made in Uganda, what are you doing for these SMEs? How are you helping them come on board? Are you considering only certified products, or you're also taking these ones on and helping them to have their products certified?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes, now, as made in Uganda, we do not limit. As we said, we aggregate all innovators and entrepreneurs into one umbrella where we get to enable them. So enabling does not stop on, let me say, at just saying that we are giving you market for something that is ready. Yes, enabling you stems from where are you starting from? Where are you at? What's your journey? What challenges do you have? Yes, so we work closely with the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, which helps us to see that we polish on some of these issues that we have for startups. Yeah, so we bring on board all startups at all levels. Let's say you are just at the infant stage. You're there like, how best can I have my product, for example, packaged? Now, from there, you're like, what is there for me to be able to put my product on market in terms of certifications? Now, we work with STI to be able to advise. Recently, when we were at Kololo for our National Science Week, we launched a very interesting packaging solution for our innovators in the country. So we realized that, yes, for as much as we have the best of product, but our products out there are not well packaged. Packaging is one thing that, most of our entrepreneurs don't take so seriously. But look at a scenario where, you have a good product, but it's in the way gets to be contaminated because of your packaging. Yeah. We are working with terrains which are really stretched. For example, look at a scenario where you get to give maybe a packaged flour, for example, in a climate which is maybe rainy at some point.
Yes.
So what guarantee do you have that this border rider, call him whoever, or courier, who is, of course, in our country to mention, most of them don't have courier boxes.
Yeah, sure.
You'll bear with me that
They fix it.
They get to fix it. So you realize that in transit, the product in a way gets to be. Now we are looking at green solutions. How are you going to get flour packaged in a paper bag and get it moved to a destination under, rainy conditions, for example? So these are the solutions we are looking at. How best can we advise you if you're offering that packaging to be able to what? To have your product at the end of the day preserved, okay? But also get to compete. It's from a point that when I get to see this product, for example, naturally you'll be amazed and get to buy. So partly what we do from preservation, we also get to add that advertising element. Yeah, so this packaging center of excellence, which was launched, got to put us in a position where we offer these solutions. And as made in Uganda, we are committed to advise on packaging, on branding, but also work together with enabling bodies like UNBS to be able to have the products that are brought on market well branded, well packaged, but also pass the test. At the end of the day, even though we have these good products, which are not, safe for us to take, for example, we still face a very big challenge. Yes, very big challenge. So we enable them, we bring them closer to these bodies, okay? And they get to interact. What challenges do we have? Such that if, for example, they are facing an impediment to reaching out to UNBS, most of these, I've interacted with over 500 vendors for the past year. And one thing I've realized is that they fear from the word go, especially on certifications. Now, the process is that you get to go online and get to look at what solutions are there in terms of the product you're dealing in. So they're like, it feels like it's a long process for us.
We actually fear that it is expensive. From the hearsays, they say UNBS is expensive.
Very expensive.
So
on average, they'll tell you getting a Q mark only, it will cost us. So I had a vendor who gave me an estimate. He's dealing in produce. So he has like 10 different SKUs, from the G-nuts to flowers. So it's like, look at a scenario where I have to certify all these SKUs, because for each particular product, you need to have a Q mark for it, to be able to sell. So they're like, how first of all, my return on investment won't be proportionate to what I'm going to invest in terms of certifying the product. Remember, these are renewed, certifications. If your product is there for a year, after a year, you need to again pay for it to be on the market. So issues of access to finance, issues of having all these products competitively put on market. So they get to be challenged finance-wise. Even then, the bureaucracy, like, I'm going to get online. Now, some of them say, I contacted UNBS for the last 6 months. They promised they're going to come and visit my site. But up to now, yeah, so these are the problems that they have. So Made in Uganda came into the interplay to be more of an intermediary partner to see that, yes, for all these glitches in terms of bureaucratic tendencies, in terms of, financial access to finance, in terms of facility-wise, lab tests, they are made more accessible. Okay? Yeah, so a vendor, for example, or an entrepreneur to say, should not shy away to come on board and say, how am I going to be competitive? How am I going to start? Where am I going to have all this money to be able to have my products go live, for example, and be more competitive? So we work closely with STI, as I earlier mentioned. And
Can you explain to us what is STI?
STI. So STI is science, technology, and innovation. It's under the Office of the President, majorly taking on the mandate of bringing together innovators and enabling them to offer what they have to do on market, plus also advising them on what they should do. So they're into product acceleration, they're into creating more market access, enabling sectors like pathogen economy, being able to have all the, let's say, for example, you're dealing in pharmaceuticals, for example, what is there for us to look at in terms of the National Drug Authority? What do they require of us to be able to put our products? But also advising on what is safe for our people at the end of the day. So they are into a lot of things. So as Made in Uganda, we partner with them to see that, yes, as they accelerate the production, as they do all these kinds of engagements, we come in and enable in terms of market access. So they give us the leeway to be able to scrutinize all our processes, but also as we come on board to say, okay, at the end of the day, you have scrutinized and everything is okay. Your product is here. It's now accessing market. And we are giving you a platform where, one, you get to sell your product online, but also physically bring it into the supermarket that we have established. But so we do partner on very many.
But
levels.
Mr. Isaiah, the challenge we have in Uganda.
Yes.
Most of our Ugandans don't trust our Ugandan-made products. So how are you going to go about that? Because we've seen most Ugandan-made products go into a supermarket. Actually, sometimes they expire and they just put them out off the shelves because Ugandans believe that Ugandan products are not of good quality. They believe in imported products more than the made in Uganda products. So how are you going to go about this?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, we have, can I call it a perception that is in
that
our
perception,
people.
yeah.
But the perception here is Ugandans, what they offer is not to the quality standards. But also, someone will tell you that I'll comfortably go to Chinatown and get something at a low price. Something that can just help me be able to sustain myself in a way. So issues to deal with high-priced Ugandan products propels most of our consumers to, but also accessibility, because at the end of the day, it will be very hard. Now, look at stalls that have been in the country for some time, the likes of Jumia. Jumia has for years has made it very possible for someone to access a product easily from the comfort of their home. So it is much easier for someone to say, I'll go there and I place my order and things come and find me wherever I am. Okay? And you realize that most of the products which are in some of these spaces are not Ugandan. Yeah, so Made in Uganda says, okay, how about you have a platform that is majorly Ugandan, driven in terms of product. So we create that solution of conveniency, someone to shop seamlessly wherever they are. And we are not saying that you're limited to Uganda only. Wherever you might be, we have very many of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. They can get to shop and have these products, solutions. But also, we are looking at what solutions we can render in terms of alternative cost-cutting solutions. If, for example, the product costs maybe 3 times the same product, maybe brought in by another player, let's say Chinese product, we get to understand what is the costing element accruing to this. And we say, I think for the study we have realized is that most of this stems to the material sourcing.
Material sourcing, yes.
Yes. So they will tell you, it's very hard for me to keep the price low because at the end of the day, when I go down there to the farmers, for example, and I source at this price. So most of our entrepreneurs do the math and they realize that over and above, they're selling.
Yeah, the costs of production are a bit high because our businesses majorly operate on small scale.
Yes.
And when you're, imagine if you're going to produce, let's say, 10 bottles of juice. Someone who buys an empty bottle of like 10 pieces will be sold at around 200. But someone who is buying in bulk will be sold at 50 shillings. So you find when you're going to incur everything, the cost becomes high.
Yes.
And these are businesses operating on small scale, so they don't have the capital to invest in. So their prices go high. Now, as Made in Uganda, how are you going to help this small business know how best to price their products so that they can at least compete on the market?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, we, as Made in Uganda, one, as I said, we have enabling bodies that we partner with. Okay. Now, to that level, we are looking at if the problem are the raw materials, sourcing raw materials, for example, can we be able to render alternative solutions in the country? Okay. Better still, can we create more accessibility to these? Because you realize that, yes, as much as someone is making the juice, but they will tell you that as the cost of transport, that ultimately stems into the costing of the product at the end of the day, is in such a way that I have to move. For example, if I'm established in Namamve, for example, and I have to go and say I source my coffee from Budibujo or from Bale, it will mean that the cost of transport is a bit. So we are saying that, yes, in terms of enabling our innovators from the grassroots, let us have alternative raw material solutions. If sourcing is hard on our end, let us look at the environment we are working in. Can we be able to be able to source from within? Can we work with the farmers and render solutions? If, for example, the issue of not growing Robusta coffee or Arabica coffee is attributed to fertilizers, let us aggregate these people, be able to advise them on how best they can have solutions in terms of raw materials within their working area. But also, looking at the cost on another broader perspective, it's very easy to tap into economies of scale if you're doing bulk purchases, for example. Yeah. So we are saying that as made in Uganda, we are aggregating. We get to learn from each other, but also we get to have hubs. Okay. Yes. These hubs that get to bring you together. You do not have to think of having a fully fledged facility to be able to put something on market. You will be able to come, find already established, players in the market, have these mergers, forward and backward linkages, see and learn from the very best, but also get to, leverage on their facilities and be able to grow your portfolio.
Do we already have these hubs in Uganda?
Yes, we do have. Though we intend to grow the portfolio, I think there's one already with Chambogo. We also have Yuri being one of our aggregators as well. So we are looking at growing these numbers day by day. Because at the end of the day, when you get to interact with these people, know their problems, know what challenges they are having, you get to know where the numbers are really concentrated, and get to have the solutions at the end. So we are into the process of enabling them through that arrangement.
Okay, now you've enabled them, they've produced the products, they've put it on the market. How are you helping them get the market from their own Ugandans? Or how are you convincing these Ugandans to support their own Ugandan products? Made in Uganda. I've produced my juice from here. And you're convincing this other person to know that, yes, this is juice that Blessing has made. It is made in Uganda, but it is good. How are you going to spread this information so that Ugandans develop trust in our own made in Uganda products?
Thank you very much. Now, we started with aggregating, and promotion-wise, we do the noise, as we have already said. We do the noise on the socials, but also physically, we go down. We have two major events that we feature on every year. That is the National Science Week, which just ended, but also the UMA exhibition. We are part of UMA family, okay, and also and so we get to, when these people come, we get to have interact with them, get to show them. Most of them got surprised with our very first engagement that we had. They like, most of them that came into the supermarket, they're like, really? So we can have a supermarket of Ugandan product? You see that? So they're like, it's impossible. Most of us, we know that, or we grew up knowing that most of the things we get are either imported into the country. Very few of the products are on the market, and they are fully Ugandan. So these solutions of exhibitions, these solutions of having supermarkets that are typically Ugandan driven in terms of product, but also going down to the very last person there. We are phased out to do route selling, more like we open up routes, we go and render solutions to the retailing stores, but also to the final person in the customer out there. So we believe that with all these solutions, but also, of course, capturing the online. Of course, not all of us are able to be connected, but all these solutions we are looking at, from exhibitions in terms of pulling masses, we are there. In terms of doing the foot soldiering, of taking the product, the final person out there, we are there. In terms of the online presence, we are there. Yeah, so we believe with this, we shall be able to one, polish on what we have, but also expand on the portfolio. Yeah, so I'll tell you, we started, I think last year, we closed with around 250 subscribers to Made in Uganda. Yes, and as we speak, we have, in the space of just a few months, we have surpassed the 500 mark. And these numbers are growing every day. So day by day, innovators get to buy into the culture of being Ugandan, but also rendering solutions, having alternative solutions, I have to say, to these other players who have been in existence for so many years.
Now, when you say you've onboarded over 500 subscribers, people may think you're talking about maybe people following you.
Yes.
Can you elaborate more on this? Like, because we have people who are just watching us for the first time, or listening, or hearing about Made in Uganda for the first time. So, do you have an already established supermarket that is there? And do you have like an active e-commerce something that is doing the trading for the innovators? So that these people can know that actually what you're talking about is something that is already in progress, and we're already having businesses that are already benefiting from it.
Yes. Now, last October, during UMA, we officially launched our online platform. So every other person, be it in the country or in the diaspora, you can get to visit the website and shop. The website is www.miu.ug. So online-wise, we are covered. Yes. Now, of course, what we do is that we aggregate all these entrepreneurs. We promote them, but distribute. Now, what you've talked about more speaks to the distribution channel that we run. Distribution channel-wise, we are looking at the e-commerce platform. That will majorly enable us to sell online. But also, we look at the physical retailing stores. Apparently, we have our very first Ugandan supermarket.
Oh, well done.
Thank you. That is established at UMA. And officially, we are launching in a time which is not far from now. But we're already trading. And so it's just a beginning of yet very many other outlets that we are looking at. Last year, we concluded the year with an exhibition to South Africa.
Okay.
That saw us traverse the
We are seeing the bus moving, TikTok videos,
exactly.
and we actually were not understanding what is happening.
Okay, so we started on an expedition, more like we want to venture into the unknown of us going to this sub-Saharan African region, and we traverse and show them what we do. I'll tell you that we got to realize in the 6 countries we moved, there is no offering that is in place in terms of food than what Uganda has to offer.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes. And I will tell you that we got to have the turnout to be that, for example, when you launched in Cape Town, our allies in government expressed a very very strong interest in us having a stall there.
Also, you were doing this so that you can sell the Ugandan products in the other markets.
Yes. So us, as I said, that we are into a business of promoting Ugandan and having products feature on the highest stage
Okay.
for our Ugandans. So we faced to go into this expedition with one thing in mind: selling what we have and creating value at the end of the day. So interest spanned into outlets, and we all these are instilled in the pipeline to see that we have these solutions extended to our brothers and sisters in the down north, in the down south part of Africa.
Okay, Mr. Isaiah, as we conclude this show, can you tell our listeners and the people watching us, the investors, the innovators who are trying to make products or who already have existing products, how they can be part of the Made in Uganda supermarket?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, to subscribe, we are Made in Uganda. So to start with, you have to be an innovator who is dealing in a Ugandan-made product. Okay. Of course, some will argue that what if I source part of what I use in raw materials from out to be able to maybe supplement on what is here? Majorly people who are into electronics, they'll argue and tell you, me as Ugandans, we are not yet there in terms of let's say materials that we use, for example. So those, we do not limit that you have to be fully
Ugandan.
But in terms of assembling, 70% of what you do should be
Ugandan.
here, done here in Uganda. Yeah. So of course others as well who are into foods and beverages and all these other categories, they are encouraged that one, come. Now, our onboarding process is very seamless. When you visit our website, you get to become a vendor seamlessly. Under Seller Zone, you can become a seller. So you just go on the website, look for Seller Zone. Yes. Under Seller Zone, become a seller.
Okay.
Basically, what we ask here is your details in terms of the directorship, the details in terms of the company, your address, but also some legal aspects of your TIN and UNBS, to just be sure that yes, we are aligned to doing business at a global stage. But also, most importantly, products. Okay, so we enable you to be able to list your products on the platform and be able to sell.
Okay.
So once we onboard you through the website, then we encourage you to physically bring these products.
Okay.
As I said, we have a physical supermarket which is running. So we get to one, have your product sell through the supermarket, but also we get to have the product in our fulfillment center where we get to fulfill online orders.
So, Mr. Isaiah, since you've been working with different entrepreneurs, what can you tell the women entrepreneurs out there, different opportunities, and how best this initiative can help them?
Thank you very much. I have to say that for all the subscribers, I have to say the vendors that have come on board for the past year, 50 to 60% are women.
Wow.
So that tells you that innovation-wise, women are on a very good trajectory in this country. And so what we do, one thing we have realized is that most of our women players in the market are into agro-processing, handcrafts. And I have to tell you, between 38 to 40% of the businesses, active businesses that are growing in this country are women-led. Yeah, so us as Made in Uganda, first we take pride in knowing that our very own mothers are not only doing their duties,
but they are breaking the ceilings in the business world.
Yes. And of course, very many drivers accrue to this. Yes. But I have to say, profit-wise, one thing we have realized is that I think Made in Uganda came on board to render solutions. If you're to compare men-led businesses and women-led businesses, yes, in terms of scaling up, women are still scaling up, but on a low pace as compared to. In terms of profits, of course, you realize that men-led businesses are more profitable and are able to sustain. And among the challenges we saw is that access to market. Of course, for over years, the government has been able to come on board through initiatives like Grow and Empower Women. But the index still lags behind. Yeah, so us as Made in Uganda, we said, okay, women-wise, we are not saying that, okay, profit-wise, we are seeing men-led businesses doing better. Let us just focus on those. No, or let us give more opportunity to those then. So we are encouraging that, yes, our mothers come on board. We enable them. Are they starting up? We don't say that, let us limit you out. As Made in Uganda, bring you on board and say, come, let us enable you. And let us create solutions that do not impede, like they give you freedom to do every other duty. So the online here gets to give you that opportunity. You only have to trust Made in Uganda with your product.
And
Yes.
what makes you think women-led businesses are not as profitable as men-led businesses?
I will tell you, a mother is one person who will do anything for their child. I think naturally, ladies are more sympathetic. They are not so. They don't have that grit of saying, you know what, it is 50,000, and that's it. So out of sympathy, out of the nature of a mother, they tend to compromise their stance.
Okay.
So partly it's attributed to how, solution-wise, in terms of a challenge that family, and also, many times they are pulled back. Women are pulled back to give up, their products and venture into something else. You look at mothers, they have to, at one point, bear offsprings for us, give birth to us. So someone looks at a year and maybe 6 months off work, and all this drags them to their initial position. If they are not so, systems are not well aligned. Yeah, so that's why Made in Uganda says, you know what, let us enable you. Bring your product. What you have to do is let us work around what is required for you to trade. Okay. In terms of the product, is it well packaged? Yes. Is it certified? Maybe not. How can we work together to see that you have that? Then from there, let the product go on the shelves of Made in Uganda. Supermarket, online. You can get to do every other duty that you have to do as a lady. And at the end of the day, you get to, have your product, your ambitions keep pushed in terms of business.
So I think women need separate feelings from business.
Exactly.
So when they are
Exactly.
costing and pricing their
Yes,
products,
yes.
they need to know why they are costing it at that
Yes.
particular price.
Yes.
And not feel sympathetic of this other person who is buying. So because they feel they cannot afford a product of 40,000, they feel they shouldn't sell a product at 40,000, so they should say it at a lesser price.
Yes.
Okay, that's a great opportunity for women in business. Made in Uganda is here to help you go through those challenges and be able to scale on the Ugandan market. Thank you so much, Mr. Isaiah. It has been great having you here. And I know many innovators out there, many business owners will take on this business opportunity and have their products onboarded on the Made in Uganda website, and maybe deliver their products to the Made in Uganda supermarket, which I believe will be a great opportunity for both the buyers and the sellers. For more information, you will have to go to the website for Made in Uganda and check all the products that are on the website. You can buy, you can onboard yourself as a seller, or you can contact Isaiah and he gives you the direction. Thank you so much for watching.